Welcome to Gem's Empire.
What do you think will happen if you have no money? What is the worst fear you have about this? Give it a voice. What is the worst fear you have on this issue? What is the worst possible thing that could happen without any money? Or without the level of money you obviously believe is necessary in order for you to feel supported in the way that you want to feel that. What is the worst possible thing that could happen? Give rise to your fear, acknowledge it, own it, give it a name.
We would have to ask our parents for money again.
My, how tragic. It's the end of the world. Not that you necessarily would have to, you know. But even if you did find yourself in that position, is that really, really, really so bad to you? And if so, why? Do you feel you are being a burden?
Well, it feels like I'm not being who I really am if I'm living in the life of lack. If I can't provide myself and my family with what there's a part of me that knows.
You are very close to the secret here. You're very close. Keep going. You're very close to the secret.
There's a part of me that knows that there is such tremendous abundance available to us that we already have, and yet it seems like we keep getting stuck in the same place.
Yes. And why would that be so? How can you get stuck in the same place? What can cause you to be stuck?
Fear.
But where does the fear come from? What is the fear based on? Do you want a hint?
Yes.
Definitions that you believe to be true. I tell you this. You cannot have a feeling about anything unless you first have a definition of that thing. Do you understand this?
Yes.
You cannot experience an emotion about anything unless you first have a belief about that thing that you hold to be true. It's not possible. So, if you have the feeling of fear about this issue, if you create the idea that you are stuck in this place, it's because your definitions motivate you to choose to act and choose to reinforce those beliefs that you have bought into about that idea.
Okay.
Being more powerful than any other idea you could choose to believe in. Is this making some sense to you?
Yeah, so you're saying uncover the core beliefs
Yes.
regarding...
That's what the emotions are for. That's what the fear is for. This is what we said earlier in this conversation. Use the fear by saying, if I am so afraid, what would I have to believe to be true in order to experience this degree of fear about the situation? What would I have to believe is true about not having money in order to be afraid that I don't have it? So, what do you believe is true about not having money that would make you choose to be afraid? Give me a definition. What do you believe is true about not having money? I am a burden. I am incapable of being a creator. I will allow my family to suffer. Am I heading in the right direction?
Maybe, but it's not...
Anything else you want to add?
There's something, I know that there, and I don't want to take up too much time, but I know that...
Oh, I see. You are willing to, in that sense, shortchange yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I see.
Which is the pattern.
It's a choice, not a pattern. You know why? I'll tell you. Are you listening? A pattern, a habit, is something you do that you don't know you're doing. When you know you're doing it, you don't have the habit anymore. If you keep doing it, it's a choice. And you keep choosing it. If you keep choosing it, because you're motivated to keep choosing it. And why are you motivated to keep choosing it? Because you have a belief that says you should do so. Is this coming clearer?
Yes.
Therefore, it's not about the idea of falling back on the excuse of having the habit of doing this. It's no longer a habit because you're aware you had the habit. But once you know you have the habit, that is the end of the habit, not the beginning of the process of getting rid of the habit. When you know you have it, that's it. It's gone. Now you get into the real work of knowing, I have now discovered that I had this pattern. But now that I know it's no longer there, I find that if my behavior continues to exhibit the pattern, it's not that it's a pattern, it's that I have a belief that motivates me to continue to behave in that direction. What the heck is that belief? Colloquially speaking. So, what the heck is that belief?
I think that there's a belief that I have to, maybe it goes back to I'm not worthy. I have to settle for
It's what we just said. You are willing to shortchange yourself. If you are willing to shortchange yourself, how can you expect the universe to give you abundance? Do you understand? This is all about honoring yourself. It's all about understanding that you are the first coin you have to spend. And if you're not willing to believe you have value, what can you buy? Do you understand?
Yeah.
You're saying you have devalued. So you have yourself no concept of your own abundance and your capability to buy, so to speak, the reality you prefer with the coin of yourself, because that's what it's bought with. The only value there is your value. Everything is a reflection of your value. Money doesn't have value on its own. If you didn't exist, it would have no value at all. It wouldn't even exist as a concept. The only reason money on your planet has value, if that is one of the symbols you wish to use as the idea of abundance, just as valid as any other symbol, and there are many, but if that's what you're using, you have to know that if you don't value yourself, you can't attract the symbol in a way that reflects the value. You have devalued your money by devaluing yourself. So you have nothing to spend. So you have to value yourself in order to valuate your money. Make sense? Does that give you something to work with?
Yes.
Do you feel a little bit richer?
Lighter.
That's the same thing. The higher frequency means you are operating closer to the idea of honoring yourself and valuing yourself. And that means your bank account is growing. Do you understand?
Yes.
And now that can begin to be reflected in your outer reality through the synchronicities that will start occurring to reflect your willingness to value yourself. Your physical reality can do nothing but reflect it. But if it doesn't reflect something you say you want, you have to understand you're not giving off the image to be reflected. And that's all there is to it. You're not being who you are. Because who you are, all of you, who you are, naturally is abundant, is joyful, is creative. Why? Because you are made in the image of creation. What can you do but create? That's your nature, to create. On all levels, you put your intent and imagination to. So if you find that there is no creation happening in an area, you have to understand it's because you are not creating yourself to be there. You understand that?
Yes.